Hi friends, it's Julie Golding Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, along the tidal Scoodic or St. Croix River, the traditional territory of the Passamaquoddy. And I'm grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. I'm happy to be back with you today after all my office renovations. If you've been following that on my page, or even if you haven't, you can get the full story on my blog, which is at juliescraftattic.com. Or you can just go onto Julie's Craft Attic Facebook page, and there's lots of pictures of before and after and the story of the whole, the whole, I was going to say ordeal, but it wasn't an ordeal. It was actually fun, the whole enterprise here. So you can see the yellow there in the background. So that's pretty cool. And I have a nice bright office now, and I changed the layout as well. Now today I am finally back after almost 2 weeks away because of the renovations, and I'm going to be sharing a project with the More Than Autumn bundle, which is really apropos for this kind of time of year. So let's get right to the project and I will show you what I've got for you today. So here we go. This is my card. So this is made with the note cards and envelopes that are already pre-cut for you. And just so you're not surprised, they are slightly smaller than the standard cards from Stampin' Up. Maybe I'll just grab one that's the standard size so you can see the difference. I'll be right back with that. So here's the standard size card base here, which is 1/4 of an 8.5 by 11 when it's made. And here's how this card compares. So see, it fits inside it kind of like that. So it's a bit smaller, and it's a nice canvas to work on because you don't have to add a lot and it can look really cool. So we're going to be making this card today. If you're watching this later and want to make the card along with me as I do it, here's what you will need to do it. So you'll need the More Than Autumn bundle, which is really cute. It's got pie, donuts. It's got all these seasonal additions you can put in the middle of your cup, like a heart or an apple or a pumpkin or this little candy cane. It's got cinnamon sticks. It's got a straw. You can turn it into cocoa with these nice marshmallows, all kinds of fun details to work with. And I love the font. I think it's so cute. I'm also going to be using the dies. So in order to make the card as given here, you will need the dies as well. And if you buy them together as a bundle, it's actually 10% less. So that's really good. So you've got all these different words like hot and cocoa. You've got season, spice, and pumpkin. And then all of the pictures that are in the stamp set you can cut out as well. So you'll need the bundle. You'll need Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and this ink plays really well with the alcohol markers, which is why I use that for this project. It doesn't run with alcohol markers. So I'm going to be using dark Real Red Stampin' Blends and dark Lemon Lime Twist Stampin' Blends. And I'm also going to be using this little tool, which is called a Wink of Stella brush, which will add a little bit of glitter for us. Let's see if you can actually see that glitter. Let me see if I can get it to show up. Can you see that? Oh yeah, there's the glitter. So you can see that glitter that is in the froth or the cream on top of my drink here. Okay, so let's get right to it and we will make this little project. Shouldn't take us too long at all. And if you ever take a class with me in person or online, this is kind of what you receive. You receive your little packet with all the little things pre-cut for you. So I've already done this so that you wouldn't have to watch me just cut out all these things on the video as well. So I've got that for apple season. So we'll just take those little words out, use the dies to do that. We've got our little pieces of paper here. So this is shaded spruce, and this is Take a Bow or Take a Bow, depending on how you pronounce it, paper. And it's really beautiful. It's got the shaded spruce, real red, and it's got granny apple green. So very nice and bright colors in that paper pack. And it comes in 6x6 with many different patterns. And then I've got this little piece of paper, and we're going to stamp on that. So we're going to stamp our cup and our froth or our whipped cream. And if you're watching today, I would love to hear what your favorite seasonal drink is. So this one will be some kind of apple concoction. It might be a coffee, it might be a tea latte, could be a cider, all kinds of different things it could be. So let's get right to our stamping here. And I'm going to put a cup on one. We're also going to need the froth, which is this great big piece here. And we'll need the little apple as well. So the little apple is right up here. And I'll put that on a third block. And that should be all for our stamping today. So everything should fit right on this piece of paper here. And if you've never used your photopolymer stamps before, that's just what these ones are called when they're see-through, you will definitely want to condition them before you use them, because they come from the factory with a little bit of soap residue on them from washing them after they're made. I know that because I went to the factory in 2023 and I asked what that was, what the residue was, and they said it was just dish soap. So that was kind of cool. So just to condition them, you just do this. If you find that the ink is still not sticking to your stamps, you can use an ink called Versamark. So you would just stamp right into the Versamark and then into your ink pad afterwards. And that should resolve the problem for you. Versamark is an invisible ink. It's a watermark ink that you can also use for embossing. And it is very good for getting the ink to stick to a brand new stamp. And in fact, sometimes I use it on older stamps too, just because sometimes the amount of ink you need to put on a flat part of a stamp is quite large. And I find that the Versamark helps the ink to stick in those situations too. So now we're going to go ahead and color here. So again, this one is, whoops, let's turn it around the right way, dark real red. So for this one, we're going to use the brush tip. It comes with a fine tip and a brush tip. And because we're going to color in all of this area on the top and bottom of the cup, I think the brush tip will do really well for that. So we can just color very quickly. So if you're not fond of coloring, what I can tell you about these alcohol markers is they're like miracle workers. Because instead of getting all those funny lines you get with regular water-based markers, the alcohol markers evaporate the alcohol off and they get rid of all those funny lines. And you can also go over all the same places over and over and over as many times as you want. And that makes it really easy to use. So we're going to color our apple in the same color. And you could use the fine tip for this if you are concerned that you might go outside the lines, but I thought it was probably okay, and I'm glad it worked out there. Now we're going to use this dark lemon lime twist, and I'm going to use the fine tip because I just want to color in that little teeny leaf. So you can see kind of what that looks like. That looks pretty nice. All right, so there's our leaf. And now we're going to take our Wink of Stella, and you can see it has a little brush there that's kind of glittery. And we're just going to brush in some of that glitter. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but in person you can see if you're getting any glitter. And if you're not, what you need to do is just squeeze the pen lightly in the middle. So just squeeze it like on this white part here, and that will get more of the glitter coming out for you. So let's have a look and see how that did. If we can get the right view so you can see the glitter bits there. Oh yeah, there we go. So that's a good amount of glitter, but maybe just a little more up here. I like lots of it because it can be quite subtle. And so the more you put on, kind of the more noticeable it is. It just depends what effect you want to have. So let's have a look there. There, now you can see it's showing up there a little bit, but it's hard to see it on the camera. In person you can. Okay, so now what we want to do is actually cut these out. So you could use scissors if you don't have the dies. Since I do have the dies, I'm just going to use those and very quickly cut these out with my little mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So the mini, if you buy the Boho Blue Limited Edition of it, they still had some of those left when I last checked. It's slightly cheaper than the regular version, and so you save yourself a few dollars. And if you're thinking you need a machine or you need all the things, this month there's actually a tremendous joining deal. So you don't have to start a business if you don't want to. If you just want to do it as a hobby, that's what most people do. They join Stampin' Up, and you would join my team at the same time when you join with me. And I have certain perks in my team as well. And you would be able to choose $206 worth of merchandise, anything you want from the Stampin' Up website, for that amount of $206, and you would pay only $135. No shipping, and in most provinces, no tax either, which is a tremendous deal. So if you added all that up, it would be worth a lot more even than the savings just between $206 and $135. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. It's just on for the month of October, and my team stretches across the country, and I would love to have you join us. We have lots of fun at our meets and online, and there's always something going on, it seems, that we're discussing on our Facebook group as well. So I just think that's a tremendous deal. And you get membership with that through the end of April of next year, and then you can decide if you want to continue or not once you kind of had a taste of it. And it's just wonderful. The community is fantastic. So there's our first little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll cut the next part. So let's cut our little apple next. Here we go. Here's our little mini machine. Oops, I just jiggled that, sorry. And we'll put that on here. Okay, here goes our little apple. Let's see if we can get it to stay, or if we need to use washi tape to stick it down in place there. No, I think it's going to stay for us. That's good. Yeah, so I would love to hear what your favorite seasonal drink is. Might be apple, might be pumpkin, might be cocoa, or some kind of coffee, a latte, tea. I like all of those things, actually. One of my favorites is actually a tea latte. I love the chai latte with a bit of spice to it. It's really nice. So there's our little apple. And now we are going to go and cut out our froth or our whipped cream, depending on what it is. I guess depending on how virtuous we are today, we can pretend it's froth if we're a little more virtuous, just milk. Or if we're feeling like we want a treat, then we can say that it's cream. So here we go. I'm just going to put that through. All right, here it comes. Oh, hi, Kathy. I didn't see your comment until right now. Sometimes I can't see comments for some reason. Anyways, I'm glad you're joining me today. And there is our froth or our cream. Okay, so we've got that all done. So I'm just going to move my little mini machine out of the way. Just flip up the plates and put that out of the way. I love that machine because it's so simple. There's no electricity. You just use your hand, and the rollers will put the pressure on the dies and cut everything for you. I just like it because I understand the technology. I think that is a valuable thing when you understand how a thing works. All right, so here's my note card. So I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder on that. And I'll get a nice crisp fold there. Then I'm going to take my paper and simply adhere that with my Stampin' Seal. So the key to using Stampin' Seal, if you've never had it before, is always keep Stampin' Seal, that you can see there, the words, on the bottom and pull back that way. Okay? So that will keep it from messing up the tape inside and breaking the tape. Just always to have that Stampin' Seal set of words on the bottom there. And pull in the same direction. All right, pull to the right. Okay, so that's all we're going to do with that piece. So let's go ahead and put that on now. And you could use the multi-purpose liquid glue if you prefer that. It will allow you some wiggle room when you're trying to put this on. And sometimes when you're trying to adhere something across the whole length of a card like this, that can be valuable if you can kind of move it around a bit. So I was careful to line this up with my grid. This is, by the way, my glass mat which is available from Stampin' Up as the Glass Mat Studio. And I hesitated at first before I bought it, but I'm finding it's great. It provides a cushion for your photopolymer stamps, gives you a grid to work with all the time, something you can clean off easily with the cloth it comes with, and I just really, really enjoy it. So if you can't find that online, just let me know, and I'd be happy to point you in the right direction for that too. Now I'm seeing that my little apple has just disappeared. Now, what did I do with that? Maybe it's stuck to my machine or something. Okay, hopefully it'll turn up here. Let's hope so. Okay, it's not there. I'm just gonna look on the floor here. Anybody have that happen where you're working away and then a piece just disappears on you? So I don't know where that went. All right, well, okay, so we will do this anyway. So what I'm gonna do is put on this cream or this froth on the top. And I'm gonna use just regular tape to stick that on. Oh, there it is, right there. It's right in front of me. Okay, good, I'm glad it's not lost. I feel like it was hiding though. Okay, so I'm just using regular tape to put those two together. You can use the expensive adhesives, but tape will do just a fine job. And then you can put your dimensionals, these little hexagons, on the back. So I'm just going to put a couple on there. Now, this little guy, I'm going to use just a glue dot. So they come in these rolls, and you press your image right onto the dot and pick it up. And now it's sticky on the back. So very simple. And we're just going to stick that in the middle of the cup to show it's an apple drink. And isn't that cute? I just think it's so cute, this cup. All right, and now let's put on apple season, and then we'll put the cup on later when we're sure we have enough time, that is space. So I'm going to use the multi-purpose liquid glue. It does have a broad tip and a fine tip, but honestly, I only ever use the fine tip. I've never needed that much glue that I needed the broad tip for anything. And you can see I'm just using tiny, tiny dots of it. I'll show you closer after I get these on. But it really requires so little glue to stick these things on when you've got a good adhesive that you don't need much of it. So I will show you how much I put on there. See those itty bitty tiny little dots there? That's all I've put on. So let's put that up at the top. All right, I'll just stick that down and it'll stick just fine. You can press it on the back just to make sure. There, that should be just fine. Now I think I will put my cup on next. So we'll take off these papers. Oh, I'm glad you like the card, Kathy. Yeah, this was such a fun set to work with. I just really enjoy it. And it's good because it's for fall and also any time of year, really. If you want to make something that's kind of cafe oriented, you can just put a little heart in the middle of your cup or leave it blank entirely, and then you can use it anytime. So I really like this set. I just think it's quite multi-purpose, especially if, like me, you really like cafes. I love that culture of the cafe. So, okay, let's see if we can pick this up without getting glue on ourselves. All right, so we're just going to stick that down really hard. And as you can see, I put tiny, tiny, tiny amounts of glue, but it's sticking really well. The only thing with this glue is I suggest putting the cap on right away because the fine tip will dry out quickly, but you can just use like a little pin or a needle to stick in it and open it up again. I don't find it's very difficult to do. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do here is we're going to put on some little rhinestones. This is probably my favorite kind of embellishment. These are the Rhinestone Basic Jewels. They're only $8.25 and you get this whole big sheet of them. So they're one of the least expensive ones. They might even be the least expensive, I'm not sure. And they're just really, really elegant and they go with almost everything. So I think that is brilliant. When you can get something that goes with almost any project, that seems like a win to me. All right, so I'm just going to put that on there. And there is the finished project. So I hope you enjoyed this today. And I hope you'll come back and see more of my videos. If you don't have a demonstrator here in Canada and you need to order some supplies, or you'd like to join my team, I would love to talk with you. Just send me off a message and I'll make sure that we connect. So thanks again for joining me today and have a wonderfully crafty weekend. Bye for now.